Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks. It's been a while, but we are back and taking a look at DSDR, one of the most popular maps in the current map pool, and for good reason. There's a lot of variety on this map. There's definitely a whole lot of interesting tactics that you can go for. Your backline definitely has a lot of ways that they can help make the front line a bit of an easier fight, or at the very least a more interesting fight. And it's especially fun to see when we have true pros, kind of mix my words up there, when we have real pros with true skills this high in the match. So let's meet them, shall we? For our cool team today, cool colors, our blue player, Flash. We all know my propensity to call the blitzes the Flash for whatever reason. I've been better about it in recent videos. I've been really working on it. It's some real personal growth. But Flash, I mean, what can I say about the man, the myth, the legend? 42 true skill, and every point is earned. Definitely a very, very, very aggro player. Not in the chat, very, 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 cool person, but plays the game very aggressively. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins the Brightworks trademark first unit out on the field award. Let me clear that map for you. Someone was trying to play tic-tac-toe, but there were no takers. I'm just pausing here for just a second to see who's going to get the first unit out. It looks like it's going to be... Elm has one in the tank already. Oh, but Flash steals it from him with a tick, and indeed, Flash takes the lead, gets that first tick out on the board. Congratulations, Flash. You win the official Brightworks first unit on the map award. Sort of hard to win that one as Cortex. You kind of have to cut some corners. But anyway, moving over to the western side of DSDR today, meeting our hot colors red player, Elmer Fudd. Now, it may not be rabbit season, but it definitely is Armada season, and this Cortex commander is ready to hunt. We've got some T1 solar panels coming down, disturbing me to no end, but there we go. Some beautiful wind turbines, never mind. Crushing my feelings here, Elmer Fudd. What am I going to do with you? You're breaking my heart. Elmer Fudd, a very strong player, 40 true skill, just 2 behind Flash, and that difference is minimal. Definitely worth his salt. Going to be expecting some really nice plays here. In a interesting position, this is sort of a hybrid position. You can support the front line from here. You can do a little bit of teching from here. You have a whole lot of options. Now, while I was busy gabbering on about this Elmer Fudd guy in the back line, Flash has already gone and taken out 2 metal extractors for the opposed commander for this area. Hiding a tick back here for later use. Very nicely done. Getting a nice little metal extractor lead nice and early on. Keeping his own safe. That is the kind of stuff we expect from somebody with this much skill. I feel like these numbers are like a power rating, right? We get the power rating of this player, right, as their true skill. Now I want to try this first person mode here. We can get real down and personal as we take a look at Fadop. Our orange player is going to be going up against Flash here, going for the vehicle bay. We can see these grunts up close and personal. We shift to overhead view. There we go. Nice. I'm working on it. I'm getting it. Can move over here as well. I'm not sure how to move around. Okay, I can sort of steer the boat here. Whee! So we can fly around all over the map here, taking a look at some rovers as they roll past here. These grunts are going to encounter these pawns. Let's zoom out. Take a look here. Oh, impressive micro coming out here. I'm going to stop doing this mode shortly because I know you guys can hear every key press that I make, and I want to be very careful not to upset you guys. As we see Rocketeer driving back the grunts here. Very nicely done. Let's shift back into our standard overhead view with a nice little 3/4 angle. Perfect for everyone's viewing pleasure here. I am still Ray, getting out quite a few of these grunts, running them around, making sure that Cats Over Money, interesting name, make sure the Cats Over Money does not get too much of a lead here. This is, of course, a really difficult start because you only have 2 metal extractors. You get this geothermal plant. You or this player get a geothermal plant, one of the 2 of you. But it does mean that you are at a little bit of a metal disadvantage because, of course, you're going to be lining up against the other people here. I guess it's fine as long as you can capture the mixes before they can. But for right now, I Am Still Ray is in the advantage. 1 metal extractor over Cats Over Money. Over the money indeed. Amir and Flash both making solid lines of defense here. Spreading out the Rocketeers in a nice little pattern, nice little diagonal spread. Make sure that they fire one after another so they're not overkilling anything. Not sure if that was intentional or not. I wouldn't put it past him. Definitely a very high skill player, knows how to micro properly, knows how to make these unit formations work the absolute most for every piece of metal that goes into them. Now let's check on the tech routes here for the backline players. Skag going for a air lab here and a metal depot. Store some metal up. We're moving the commander away, so I have to imagine that this is going to self-destruct imminently here. We have a lot of fighters queued up. I wonder if we're going to be doing some bombing or if we're just making a precautionary fighter screen. Not sure what the plan is here. I don't see a commander here for the yellow player. It looks like it was already eaten up. Ah, interesting. So Mom's Boy Toy actually helping Elmer Fudd get that T2 lab up extremely quickly. That is an interesting play. So we're double teaming the T2 lab here to get it out at 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Extremely nice. I wonder if you could even do that even faster. If you have both of these players working together, working in tandem right here, sacrifice both the comms, that's more than enough to afford that T2 lab. You could really get a T2 lab extremely quickly. Huh. That is worth investigating. Worth investigating indeed. Mom's Boy Toy now has the T2 constructor, of course, because it was given away. We have some transport, so there was an air lab here at some point, or they were given by another player. I'm not sure where that player would have come from. I don't see a lab back here, so maybe they were given from the tan player over here, a Russ. But very interesting. We're going to be seeing some interesting stuff out of these players for sure, just based on the interesting tech strategy they went for over here. Now we do see T2 constructors also being handed out by Cat, who is the tech player back here, and then it looks like we have these fighters just being mass-produced here. Commander was sucked all the way up, but it looks like as of right now, the Commander score is completely even. Fadope pushing forward with the Commander. Careful now. Yeah, these units pack a punch, and especially those artillery cannons. If you stand still for just a little too long, you're going to find yourself with much less health than you would like to see. Negative numbers instead of positive ones, and that is never a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing somewhere. It's a good thing if it's your debt counter, right? Not a good thing when it's your health points, though. For sure. I'm still Ray, commanding a dominating presence here on the little mountain section of the map. This is a really important hill. If you are playing Cortex, and I Am Still Ray certainly is, and you get a T2 constructor up on this hill, you build two little nuclear launchers, the little tactical nuclear launchers. You send two of those bad boys into the bases on this side of the map, and you can really mess up their day. You can also build defenses up here. You can build the Scorpions, plasma batteries, whatever you can imagine. You can really put it up here, and it can do quite a lot of damage. So really important that I Am Still Ray holds onto this as well as he can. We've got the light laser turrets, we've got the grunts, we are posed to defend, and I think it would be really difficult for Cats Over Money to move in there. Although a comm bomb might be worthwhile. Looks like Spooky Napkin is going to sacrifice the comm here. Try and get a little bit of a metal advantage. That's quite nice. Not something we usually see our frontline players do, but we've already fortified this entire front line. There's not really a reason for the commander to stay up there. So I think rather than sacrificing it on the front lines and maybe losing it, I think maybe pulling the metal out of it is probably a decent idea. Don't hate that one bit. A lot of resbots here on the front line, and that's something that you will always see out of these really high skill players, is that they will just queue up these resbots to constantly be working. You can see they're set on a patrol path, so they're just running around repairing whatever they can find around here. One of them was even killed and resurrected. That's interesting. But yeah, using the basically infinite health generated by these resbots in order to keep this front line marching steadily forward. You can see they have to sort of step forward, make a few inches of progress, and then come back for repairs, step forward again over and over and over until eventually you're in the enemy's base. But that's Flash's specialty, is to keep these armies marching forward. And as of right now, Flash does have the metal extractor advantage. Whoops, that's not what I meant to jump to. Wanted to take a look at the metal extractors here. You can see that FedOp has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus Flash's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doesn't seem like a lot, but once those T2 metal extractors come up and online, which they are for both players, it's actually going to be a nice little advantage there. Rocket bots are deciding to change up their positioning here, moving a little bit further north. Not a bad plan. I guess we're just making sure to shake things up at a rate that we can keep up with here. We want to get this economy up and running before we have to give up this front line and retreat a little bit. But it looks like we're basically ready to call it. Commander gets pulled off of the front line. Are we going to sacrifice it? That's not a bad idea. Ah, no, we're going to use it to help build these advanced metal extractors. Very nicely done. Now, Amir here, the purple player, also being sure to deny this metal extractor spot. Is this a high value one? No, it is not either. But it is denied, and that means that this enemy commander here, what's the name? Elm on this commander, has definitely going to be a little bit of a disadvantage. Yeah, we do see advanced metal extractors on both of these spots. So that's quite nice. The central section of this map, I think I like a little bit more for the blue team. The cool team. I feel weird saying the cool team because it sounds like I'm complimenting them, you know, out of nowhere. The blues. Whereas the northern section here looks quite a bit better for the reds team. Specifically this section here by I'm Still Ray, doing a phenomenal job of capturing this area. Moving the bot lab forward also, that's very nice. We did eventually eat that up, which is quite nice. Advanced metal extractors are built, and I think we can start doing a little bit of teching here. We have a dominative lead. I definitely think I'm Still Ray is in just the right position to tech up with absolutely no consequences, other than some better units joining his composition. That's hardly the kind of consequence that anyone should ever turn down. Amir here could take advantage of this by running some units if he had any. If he had any pawns or ticks or anything like that, could run them up and around through this way, get them back into this backline and cause quite a bit of damage. I would definitely recommend it. But might not have the APM or the metal to spare. In fact, we can take a look at the economy. It's actually an energy stall here. That's quite unfortunate. Yeah, these advanced metal extractors, they cost a lot of energy to run, and unfortunately the wind is dipping rapidly. On this map it goes from 1 to 16, so, you know, when it's 16 it's great. When it's 1, it is not so great. Flash almost done with a fusion reactor. These fusion reactors from the Cortex constructors are quite nice. I think there's something to be said about teching up as a Cortex player, because you do hand out those T2 Cortexes, which are a little bit cheaper to build economy out of. Definitely some potential to revise your strategy if you're a Armada player and you're looking for a reason to try out Cortex. That's definitely one of them. You didn't hear it from me though. MBT doing something nice for the team, not bad. Let's see what MBT is up to. Up there. We're building frontline defenses. Alright. It's a ping right here. Yeah, I mean, this Persecutor is quite nice. Let's see the effective range on this bad boy. Yeah, and you can see that's pretty huge. Anything that's not covered in radar anywhere around here is going to be in a whole lot of trouble. Yeah, very nice. Very nice placement on the Persecutor. We've also got a Scorpion to deal with any later units that might be trying to run by here. Flash suddenly has a astounding lack of units here. We do have a Twitcher on the front line, so we could definitely see some Fiends being produced. But yeah, we don't have it. Blitz is now pushing forward to sweep up all of these tanks that are marching inwards. Rolling inwards, I should say. Land ships. Land ships abound. Defense is getting blasted down here. Using the D-gun, not bad. We have that fusion reactor up and running, so this is definitely no waste. Ooh. 1% health there. I was worried it might do a little bit more damage than it should have. These T1 medium tanks managed to push through, though, and they actually catch quite a lot of the artillery here, and so this push is going to be slowed down quite a bit. Flash doing a great job of making sure not to give in that front line at all. A bunch of Fiends ran by and actually caught a commander sitting in his own base. How dare he? Of course, I'm joking. I don't know if that's... I mean, that's not really a thing. I don't know why anybody would be upset about that. But Elm certainly was right in the middle of his base. Tried to D-gun. You can see by these scars on the earth here, these nice little radial scars kind of make it look like a flower or something. But it was unfortunately not enough. Those Fiends, it only takes like 2, maybe 3 of them in order to completely devastate a commander. So, went down pretty quickly. As far as technology goes, we do have some bombers out, I'm noticing here, for our green player, Skag. We also built a cloaked fusion reactor. That's interesting. I'm never quite too sure why we build these cloaked ones instead of the regular ones. I guess it's just in case an enemy decides to bomb you, they're not going to be able to target down your economy. But is it really worth paying for the lack of energy production here? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Also costs quite a bit more metal too. Slows down your tech up. Maybe it's worth it if you're going to build a whole ton of them in a big grid pattern. You're going to build like a big square of them. Maybe it's worth it then. But otherwise, I'm not so sure. I also don't know why you'd do that in the first place. I believe this Persecutor is just dumbfiring here. Yeah, we're just telling this to manually target over here, but they do not know that there's actually quite a few construction turrets, so this is going to take ages and ages. In fact, I don't know if it'll even ever be able to kill this thing. We'll kill that light laser turret, though, that's for sure. The lone, the lone Rocketeer that could. Or more like couldn't. No, this is an interesting play. Amir marching forward, cloaked completely, to try and cover his cover his trail here, marching towards the Persecutor. Persecutor. Is there a difference between a prosecutor and a persecutor? Well, anyway, Amir gets within range, and we calm bomb, blow up the entire defensive line right there, taking down that Persecutor. Very nicely done. Skibat is in the middle of a tech transition, right in the middle of the field. Also right behind him is a Russ. And suddenly there's a whole lot of units here, and that is quite dangerous. Shurikens are out though. Those are nasty little critters. Fighters are here though. Those early game fighters are actually being incredibly powerful, shooting down as many of those Shuriken as they can before being forced to retreat by a lot of these missile trucks and some light anti-air defenses. Was this push worth it in the end? I'm not so sure. Definitely worth it to take down that Persecutor that was devastating these early front lines here. Ooh, but now we have the Cerberus, the three-headed, long-range plasma cannon from hell. Yeah, these things are nasty business. Get a real good close-up of this thing. You can hear the steam even venting off of it. Do I have the music muted by chance? I don't believe so. I'm noticing the music is extremely quiet right now. Take a look at that real quick. Oh, there it is. I do like that background music. I mean, the bar soundtrack, what a banger. Bombers take out the Cerberus. That's really important. That Cerberus was so devastating. Really, those things can put in just so much work. Bombers trying to get the commander there as they turn away, but I think ultimately they will be shot down by a lot of these fighters. Well, these are T1 fighters, so they're doing a really poor job. The fighters took the bombs. Did you see that? I only got a short clip of that. Oh my goodness, I have to go back and watch that. The bombers dropped their bombs on the fighters that were flying beneath them. The fighters taking the bombs so that the geothermal plant wouldn't go down. What an amazing meta. Yeah, they're commenting about it in the chat. Bomb the Figs, new meta. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I didn't even know that was possible. What an incredible save by Elmer Fudd. I don't know if it's even possible to intend to do that, but it was incredible. Wow. What an absolute play. Saving the advanced geothermal here. That really could have been a huge hit to the economy of this pink player. And luckily, the fighters were there to literally catch the bombs out of midair. It doesn't get better than that. Flash now moving his comm forward. Finds these bad boys. D-guns them right away. Scorpion Battery also sure to let them know that it's up and around, ready to sting them as hard as it can. Spybot is out. These are going to be great for EMPing any pushes that come through. Very critical to have around because that EMP stun can keep things locked up for about 25 seconds, I think it is. Maybe it's just 20 seconds. Either way, more than enough time to devastate them with your army. Single Fiend over here, ravaging the defensive line that was set up on this side of the map. We do see a Persecutor over here, built for the blue team, meant to disassemble. I was trying to say dismember and disassemble at the same time. Dismember. Anyway, Persecutor here, intended to cripple, how about that? Intended to cripple the frontline defenses of the pink player, both pink players, I suppose, both shades of pink player. Quite a lot of Sheldons out here now, starting to get to that kind of critical number. There's also a spy bomb moving forward, though. This is going to give a nice little bit of vision in order to actually check out what's going on over here. Fiends are moving up the ramp, though, and I think that will be the end of this position. Persecutor is almost done, but I don't know if it'll be finished quite quick enough. These Fiends are really nasty work. They find the commander. Oh no, focus the commander. Well, the commander forced to degun the Persecutor. That's unfortunate. Very sad to see. But the commander lives, which was arguably more important there. Long-range plasma cannon built right up here on the front. That is interesting. Not a strategy we see all too often, but it can definitely work. I mean, you take a few pot shots into the back of these bases, and you're going to take out some of their production. If we take a look at the actual effective range, I know there's a fight going on down here, but I think it will mostly be cleaned up by all of the units pumped out by the orange and the salmon player. That being said, there are some Fiends that have actually made it remarkably far here. Yeah, I think they'll be mopped up, though. Nicely done by Fadop. Anyway, if we take a look at the long-range plasma cannon, you can see just how far it can shoot, and indeed, it's targeting right into the heart of this base, and it hits all of the production structures. That hurts so much. Very nicely done here. Bit of an unusual way to contribute to the team fight, but Mom's Boy Toy is definitely making sure to get it done. Very nice. Some Fiends have pushed through here. It looks like it was just Fiends. Ravaged the front line, the early T1 front line here. That was shared by Cats Over Money and Spooky Napkin. So they're going to have to rebuild. I'm still Ray in quite a bit of trouble, though. Some Fiends have ran around back, and they are ready to attack. Made that rhyme, I didn't even try. I'm still Ray, getting pretty low here. 10%, 0%, and the commander goes down. That's most of that hill completely wiped away here. There is still one more Dragon's Maw, though, fending off these resurrection pods. Oh, that hurts. We have some air constructor vehicles as well to go mop up that commander's wreckage. Will they get to it before Cats Over Money? I think they will. Yeah, and indeed, they mop up that commander real quick, sending that juicy, juicy metal back to their team. Spy collision. Spy collision. That's awkward. Oh, you're invisible too? Well, that's cool. Bonk. More spies moving forward. Absolutely critical to give all these Mauser the range that they need in order to fire away at these defenses. And fire away at these defenses, they sure will. Enemy spies for the salmon player, the light salmon player here. Also made in order to help these turrets up here shoot away at their maximum range as well. This is a spy versus spy scenario we've got here. Snipers being pumped out as well. I'd love to see those. Absolutely beautiful unit for disassembling these front lines one single shot at a time, but when you get 20 or 40 of them, yeah, it really doesn't matter. Shoot as many as you like. And just keep shooting. And they just keep shooting, and they just keep shooting, and they just keep shooting. Long-range plasma cannon actually does fall to these Mauser. Just a testament to exactly how strong those things are. Not like those long-range plasma cannons are the pinnacle of strength either, though. They just look a lot tougher than they actually are. Degunning some of these banishers here, that's actually rather interesting. Ooh, Commander cloaks just in time before those banishers could get a lock on. That was really, really risky there. Those banishers do a ton of damage. Flash in a bit of a predicament here. Grunts are moving forward. Ooh, the commander's not looking so great. Luckily, the welders are here. I think there will be enough to mop this up eventually. D-gun. Ooh, what a nice D-gun. Gets all those lightning tanks with a single D-gun. The second one was fired, but it was completely cursory. At this point, Flash's commander is looking pretty bad. We're at 8% health, 14% health. Yikes. Split your units, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's a bit annoyed that Flash was able to D-gun all those units with a single hit. For everyone's information, if you have a bunch of units selected, you right-click and drag. It'll make a nice little unit formation. It'll put them in a nice big line like this. Very, very useful. Up north here, we have more and more Fiends pushing forward, meeting Sheldon and Sniper Fire. Gunslingers even brought to the front here. Interesting choice. Not the best option, not the worst option. Just sort of a excellent middle ground, and depending on how excellent your micro is, those can certainly get enough value. Persecutor here to shell away at the enemies. Shurikens brought over to paralyze the Persecutor. Very nicely done. They give the vision that these Arbiters need in order to siege down that base. Chainsaw here trying to destroy a bunch of these Shurikens. but this Manticore is doing a much better job. Arbiter's now firing on these gunslingers though, and they do manage to take a few of them with them. Cats over money doing a decent job of holding this midline, but getting overrun by the swarming of grunts here. And I think this commander's in a whole lot of trouble. Down south, Flash has been pushed back as well by the T2 vehicles that have come out here. There are signs of a D-gun here, but I'm not sure what exactly that was. The commander is still up and running, which is quite nice. I think snipers are definitely the way to go here, though. You definitely need as many snipers as you can possibly afford to make in order to burst down as many of these vehicles as you can at one time to dissuade them from pushing inwards. Each of these snipers firing is about a third of the health off of one of these Tiger tanks. So it's very, very critical to get as many hits off initially as you can to soften all those up for your welders here. Did see a commander go down here. Yep, looks like it was Cats Over Money who actually took down a commander with just a few of these grunts, but we do have some retaliation hounds marching forward here. Very nice. Yeah, very nice indeed. Let's see about getting a cool camera angle here. Oh yeah, this is great. Right on top of the hill. We can watch, turn off all that clutter for you. Now this is beyond all reason. The Arbiters in the background. Ooh, the fighters sweeping in from underneath. Track those around as they dip and dive. Look at all that swarm of fighters moving around over there on the side. Arbiters laying siege from afar here. The Fiends marching forward. Constructors working back there. You can see the fighter screen in the distance. The grunts moving forward. More Fiends marching along from green, dark green there. Moving those Fiends in, being absolutely deadly with them. And this is beyond all reason. This is gaming. Fiends encountering a Sumo over there. Let's pop out of this so we can go take a closer look here. Sumo will be melted down, but not before these Fiends take a nasty hit for it. Back into a more comfortable angle there. Very nice. Oh, the bombers have arrived. I think this area will be reduced to smithereens. Nothing is left. Look at that scar. Oh my goodness, so many bombs all at once. And of course they continue going. These bombers are going to keep moving forward. I'd love to see them spread out a little bit. They're taking that AoE damage. Let's pull up our infographics a little bit more. Yeah, that APHIS is going to be shut down. Ooh, 0%. Okay, it does go up. And these bombers are told to bomb all this. I think they should definitely be going after something else, change targets here. But I guess they're just looking to devastate this one player as thoroughly as they possibly can. Yeah, these ones are not being microed exceptionally. What's our plan here? Yeah, we're just kind of bombing the hell out of whatever we can find. You know, I don't hate it. Fighter screen will eventually clean up these bombers, but yeah, A-Russ is definitely out of the game for a little while here. Look at this scar one more time. This was a single bombing run, and it left this welding pattern of material on the ground here. Absolutely brutal. A lot of fighters out in the air now. That's very nice to see. We are teching up in the back here. We have some anti-aircraft coming out. It's these flak shredders. That's right. What are the? Forget what the Cortex ones are called. Let's see here. Here's one. Now, Fury. Yes, the Fury and the Shredder. Both the anti-air vehicles for each faction. A lot of fighters being produced, both T1 and T2, to make a nice little fighter screen. Looks like there's a debate about it in chat. You guys can read that. I'm mostly going to have to ignore it as I keep focusing on the game here. Some bulls are now out. These are expensive. The snipers are getting shots off. It's never a good sign. Every sniper shot, you can think of it like costing this player metal. And every shot costs them about 400 metal. Every shot that lands on any of those tanks, that is. Oh, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? We've got the scuttles. We've walked them around the defenses. The Arbiters are firing blindly into the smoke here. Oh, don't cluster them. Okay, one exploded prematurely here. I think it was shot down by a light laser turret. These two are scuffed up pretty badly. Oh, we're clustering them. Oh no, they get shot down. That was a valiant effort. I really love to see it. Keep trying. Yeah, we have more out here now. They're told to fire at will. That's what happened. They get too close to things and they're going to explode. Remember, when you self-destruct these, Control D, while selecting one of these units, it's going to explode in a much, much, much higher radius. Like, it's just a way, way bigger explosion. Just something to keep in mind here. This is a great option for taking down this Tachyon, by the way. Alright, not bad. Blowing apart a few of these bulls here. Snipers doing the work for taking down the rest of them. And yeah, watch those bulls evaporate. Oh, that hurts so bad. This sniper here being absolutely critical to the success of this mission. And we have some of these T3 artillery bots pushing forward as well. This hold is suddenly looking dire here. Vanguards, they must have vanguards. Indeed they do. These vanguards, heavy siege artillery. Very, very devastating. I'm not even sure what class of projectile they fire. It's like super heavy. Whatever it is, it wrecks havoc. When it hits. They've got to hit, so that's one precondition there. A lot of shurikens up now. Tons and tons of Sheldons too. This is a mirror matchup here. We've got the Sheldons versus the Arbiters. Although we do have a Cortex and Armada on this side, and, well, I should say a Cortex and Armada bot players versus a Cortex bot player but versus a Armada vehicle player. Whoa. Guess we paused the match there for just a second. It's alright. The fighters have moved forward. Now, I learned something interesting about engaging these fighter pushes. Usually you have your fighters in a wall, right? And the most efficient way to do this is to move your fighters in after the initial wave has passed, essentially allowing you to shoot down the enemy planes from behind. And I think that's exactly what we just saw here from Cats Over Mommy. So there's a nice little tip for you in case you are looking for a way to more easily clean up those big fighter pushes. I think if you are the aggressor, the most important thing is to spread them out in a big line so that you constantly have fighters trickling through, and then the ones that manage to break through, they just double back, and they keep contributing to the fight, whereas the new ones continue to push forward here. Lots of Shiva moving forward. Really difficult to deal with. They did anyway. Spectators very active in this game. Can't blame them though. This is a very high skill lobby. I would be spectating too. This was a viewer submitted game, and I have to say, you guys have been picking out some absolute bangers for me to review. I've got like 6 Supreme Straight videos to commentate, and I just don't know where to start with those ones. So expect those to come out a little bit slower if those are the ones that you've been showing me, because I like to try and mix it up. But never fear, I've got you covered. I'll be taking a look at those shortly. Some of them I've already looked at. I just haven't recorded the video yet, or rather, I haven't uploaded the video yet. Shiva has taken the advanced geothermal plant. It's continued to push forward into this base. This is looking really, really dire here. MBT spamming out a whole bunch of these ticks and pawns to cover the front lines here as the Shiva start marching forward. Mouse's fiends keep pushing on, and I'm still Ray, commanding a devastating army of Siege T3 walkers. Look at those Shiva. Also say hi to all the spectators. There we go. They get to the back line here, and there's not really an answer. They're going to start firing away. T3, the advanced fusion reactor, in quite a bit of trouble here. Lights up, blows down that base like a Christmas tree. I've said that a lot recently. It's probably my favorite way to describe these. Really is quite a spectacle to see, like an explosive Christmas tree. It's beautiful. The fighters are moving in now. Getting a little bit comfortable here. Guess there's nothing left to take them down, so they're just going to easily burst down that nuclear bomber. So on this side of the map, the battle is actually skewing towards the red player, or towards the blue players here. But little do they know that their entire northern flank has been completely eradicated, and they are about to be bombed into the Stone Age. A lot of T1 bombers here that these Furies are easily dismantling, but not before they drop a whole payload right on top of the advanced fusion reactors here for the purple player, and red manages to knock one of the bigger frontline players completely out of the game. Very nicely done. This northern sector completely skewing the odds of this match here. Those strategic Shiva in order to push through, just to break that front line, and then afterwards the Fiends, the Starlights here, the Pawns, the Ticks, all the rest of it. were able to easily push forward and ruin these players' day. Now there's an all-access pass to the back door of the blue team, and I do not think it will be long before they succumb to the forces of the red army. Loads of grunts being pushed out here as well, and it doesn't matter how inefficient this is, we just need to make sure that these units can't march any closer. And indeed they will not with this amount of units trickling towards them. Look at these snipers marching in unison. They're like the English Royal Guard. You ever seen those guys with the big hats? That's what they remind me of. Artillery fire coming down here. Trying to hold on, but I think the red team's got it. Blue is just so much further away from the economy than the red team is. There's basically nothing holding back this army over here. They're already inside the base of the only player trying to actively defend this spot. We do see a Razorback out now to try and mop up this mess, but I think there's still too many units pushing forward here. Emir's welders marching onward. The snipers continuing to fire. I'm not sure where Emir's getting power from. It looks like a fusion reactor was handed over from Flash in order to help deal with that. Razorback here to try and deal with this mess, putting in as much firepower as it can, and it can put in a lot of firepower. Yeah, actually doing a decent job of mopping this up here. Something's going on with the server, I'm noticing. Stop match. The match is so close, don't stop it now. Row DDoSing confirmed. Apparently there's some sort of a problem with the server, but it looks fine on our end because we're just watching the replay file of it, of course. A lot of pawns have gotten into the backline here and are starting to shoot down these starlights. The Razorback, one of the Razorbacks fell, but another one is here to take its place, so that is quite nice indeed. Yeah, and actually this northern push is held quite nicely. And suddenly I'm not so sure. Shurikens are here to stall the party though, and that is definitely going to cause quite a lot of pain. No anti-air here. That's probably the death of this army. What can we do about it? Wow, the T3 monsters keep moving forward though. They're shelling away at this advanced fusion reactor, and they get it. The entire light salmon player's base goes up in smoke. It cost the entire T3 army, but they shut down one of the biggest producers on the front line here. Is this a swing match? What? I can't even tell you who's gonna win this one. I couldn't even predict it. Flash now building his own Razorbacks, getting those T3 units out on the field. I guess we're gonna call it quits with 2 advanced fusion reactors, 1 regular fusion reactor, and a whole bunch of energy converters. That'll be enough for our needs as we move some more Razorbacks up north here, trying to deal with this push that is just continuing to amass units here. Meanwhile, this push was completely shut down, mostly by these shurikens. Phenomenal work with those. Remembering to get those shurikens out into the late game and using them defensively. Absolutely brilliant tactically there. Something that's so easy to forget, but definitely can swing the entire tide of a push, as we've just seen. Catapults here, raining death, pure death onto the battlefield. Another nasty scar to witness. Is there enough to hold right here? Uh-oh, the Karganeth are marching in. These are going to be hard to hold. Razorbacks, they do a great job, but the Karganeth, they have a lot of health. And I don't know if there's enough to bring all of these down in time. I didn't see this Razorback over here. That's definitely enough. Bombing Run comes in here. That's interesting. Bombing Run is actually successful. Takes out a big chunk of the construction turrets here. That really does hurt, and the Razorbacks converge on the Karganeth in order to take them down. Those rocket spiders are going to be halted. This push up north is halted as well. We're moving construction turrets in too. Very interesting. Yeah, these Razorbacks are going to be cleaning up this side, but the middle of the map is regaining steam. We now have Shiva pumping out from the middle of the map here, raining down hellfire. Literally and figuratively. Hellfire missiles, accompanied by contained matter projectile plasmas. Gauss projectile plasmas. I don't know if there's actually any lore to this game. I always thought of these little plasma balls as like a big chunk of matter that's been squeezed so tightly that it's extremely explosive, and it's contained in some sort of plasma field. As soon as the plasma goes away, it explodes violently. Maybe I'm overthinking this though. Maybe it's just robots devastating robots. Overcomplicating something that definitely doesn't need to be overcomplicated. Welder's doing a decent job here of mopping up a lot of these grunts. Those welders are durable, and they have that lightning attack, which of course chains to nearby enemies. Very, very nice for dealing with these big swarms of units. Not as good as something as, say, maybe like a Fat Man, but also they have some definite advantages over Fat Mans, like, say, for instance, their ability to walk at a above-crawling speed. Pitbull here, valiant hero, blasting down these grunts one at a time. Tachyon as well. Very inefficient, that trade. I mean, it works, but yeah, not like the best trade ever. Tons of spy bots out now. And these are going to be used to slow down these Razorbacks and halt their push here. What's wrong with this one? Oh, it's going up this hill, which makes it extremely slow. Interesting. Razorback does crest the hill here and actually manages to start picking apart some of these defenses. Of course, these T1 defenses are never going to trade out particularly well against these Razorbacks. But there's only one remaining, and that is going to be falling quickly. Let's see it go down up north there. Wow, the blue team managed to hold on. Frankly, I'm really surprised. I thought that push was going to end them for sure. They had the units streaming in, but Mons Voitoy is not giving up. We're going to continue producing economy. We've already got bombers streaming out like crazy. How many do we have now? 17. And you can see just how many of these we're producing. Like a bomber a second here. Yeah, they only slow down here to produce another advanced fusion reactor. Units swarming out of Elmer Fudd's base, coalescing around Orange's metal extractor. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. And out onto the march after saying a battle prayer. Tachyon turret was revived in the middle of the field. That's kind of interesting. We have this, like, Tachyon civil war going on here. The Razorbacks march forward, though. They're not having any of that. Not interested in that whatsoever. The Shuriken move forward. The Razorbacks actually can shoot down the Shuriken. And indeed they will. Make pretty quick work of those Shuriken. Very nicely done. These bombers are scaring me, though. There's no air player here for the blue team. It's something that all of them are neglecting at the moment, and I think it's going to cost them quite dearly here. Another construction turret was put over here. I see. It was to tear down this building. That is actually a brilliant move. Put the construction turret right next to these really, really high metal wrecks. Yeah, that is quite nice indeed. Wow. Do you guys see how far away that shot from? That was all the way up on this hill. These things have an incredible range. Look at that. They can shoot all the way into the backline base here. I told you just how important this hill was. I was talking about anti-nukes, or rather tactical nukes. But they're just shelling away at this base from 100 miles away. Absolutely nuts. This Razorback push is quite dangerous looking, though. We don't really have a good answer here. I mean, these grunts, they'll probably swarm the Razorbacks, but not without taking quite a lot of hits here. Shurikens also melted really quickly by the Razorbacks, and I think all we're trying to do at this point is stall for as long as humanly possible. As long as robotically possible, I should say. Oh man, these Razorbacks, they're so satisfying when they get to fire into big crowds like that, because they, yeah, they are devastating. The Razorbacks march forward. Well, I was going to say there's a substantial army up here, but it's not. It's a bunch of constructors. I thought it was army. This is a lot of Shivas here, I will say. But there's a ton of snipers that are probably going to be able to deal with that. Razorbacks forced to retreat here, otherwise they're going to be overwhelmed by all of these pawns, but taking an excellent trade in the meantime. Very, very nicely done. Now the push has been halted, and so the Razorbacks can move forward again. But the commander is moving forward. Probably going to try and comb-bomb, if not D-gun some of these. That's definitely one option. Oh, D-gun's just a little too early and does manage to get themselves killed. Elmer Fudd in a bit of a position here. The Razorbacks are moving away. Oh. Yeah. Comb-bomb is probably the best bet here. Oh no, we can pull off 4 D-guns expertly. Oh, only 2. Or 3. Was it 3? I think it was 3 out of 4. Unfortunately, that means that the commander is going to have to pay with its life, and there's a single Razorback left in the game. Do we have scouting vision here? We do not have vision here. So unfortunately, we do not know where the economy center is, but I think this Razorback might find it here. Indeed, we do. We find the economy center here for this tan player, and I think that is going to be them completely wiped out of this game. Get that off the map so you can see the health bar. Indeed, the advanced fusions go up, and now it is only a battle of Northwest versus southeast. Ooh, was that the bombing run? The bombing run. Oh yeah, they took out this player completely. This was the light blue player. Adas. Yeah, their base has been completely ravaged. That's pretty devastating. Some defenses were set up here, which is quite nice. Look at that. Gold Star Grunt. Giving it his all. Everything he's got for his country. Very nicely done. Just another fusion reactor lights up here. This is a race to see who can kill each other's fusion reactors quicker. Oh, these long-range plasma cannons are targeting down the bases over here. Looks like they're bouncing off of this shield bubble and deflecting right into the base over here. Very, very dangerous. We do finally have a shield bubble up, though, to try and protect, but this economy is still slightly exposed. A little bit worrisome. Razorback pushing in here. Oh, this is getting dangerous. Razorback is dangerously close. It's starting to take down this bulwark here. Bulwark has the support of many construction turrets, though. It will eventually melt down the Razorback. This is cheek clenching. We've got these scouts built now in order to scout for future bombing runs. Looks like that's not the plan, though. Got tons of these spy bots as well. We're going to try and free this, this poor Razorback here with another Razorback coming in to shoot down some of these shurikens. Very nice. Good teamwork, everybody. Now these Shiva are getting dangerously close to the backline position here. Oh yeah, we're not using these at all. Try and clear that. Yeah. Are these? Yeah, these aren't working on this lab whatsoever. That is really unfortunate. Ah, there they go. Revelate realizes he's just been stalling energy and metal, wondering why his production has been so slow. Indeed, it's because half of his builders were not building. I'm also not sure why all of these are set to high trajectory. That is really odd. Very, very interesting strategic decision there. We're resurrecting a whole bunch of this army. That's an interesting decision. Don't see why we're doing that for a bunch of grunts. Maybe we were hoping to resurrect the Razorbacks, but instead just got grunts for lunch instead. Big old bombing run coming out here now. What are they going after, though? They're headed straight for the heart. They know exactly what they're targeting. Going for the advanced fusion reactor. And I think it will light up. Absolutely phenomenal. The perfect bombing run. It also takes out the production here for yellow. And that is going to completely cripple the red player here. Elmer Fudd reduced down to a single pair of constructors. I guess he's got this T1 bot lab as well, so we will probably see some rebuilding happening. But yeah, that's gotta hurt. Revel 8 has now got some Titans out on the field, and I guess by some I mean a Titan out on the field. We are still not even close to using up our metal, though. I think nano turrets would definitely be a worthwhile investment. We could, well, do we even have a T1 constructor anymore? Well, we might not. Oh, we have a T1 lab here. We could give some T1 constructors away. I don't see why not. Those bombers came from Flash, right? Yeah, okay. So we've got another bomber run producing here from Flash. We're doing, I'm not sure what this ratio is. We've got a bunch of scouts and a bunch of bombers. I'm happy to see those scouts, though, because I doubt we know exactly where the economy is for the backline here. Yeah, we basically don't know anything. So we're kind of going in blind, but that's okay. A little bit of defense is here. We've got some bulwarks, but that's not really going to protect against a bombing run. So this area is very, very exposed up on this hill. Razorbacks fighting against Shiva. Razorbacks win the fight against Shiva, but you definitely need to spread them out so that the AoE effect can't give those Shiva a nice fair fight. Definitely very important here. But Shiva also have those missiles, so if you're standing still, those missiles definitely are going to do quite a lot of damage, yeah. Wasting a ton of them on the ticks, though, and that's great. Wouldn't mind even seeing some more ticks out now. Ooh, these bombers need to spread out. They're going to get hit by a Mercury or a Screamer or something, and they're going to be... Yeah, they're going to be in a lot of pain here. I'm calling it already. Maybe not. They do actually make it all the way to the production back here. Is there enough to completely destroy it? There is not. Not at all. They take it down to about 40% here. Ah, but they will chain react all of these construction turrets. So at the very least, the production for light pink is completely taken down, as well as the converters, as someone in chat just said. Meaning that the metal production is completely skewed as well. Ah, now this is interesting. I hadn't even noticed this. Massive T1 medium tank factory built over here by the pink player, who was desperately running out of metal, spending 500 metal per second and income of only about 100. That's really something else. Yeah, I don't know if these tanks are going to be able to accomplish much. Shiva pretty good against these armored vehicles here. Yeah, I think with proper micro, this should be alright. Oh, actually, these Vanguard are walking away. Ooh, without the Vanguard, I actually don't like this as much. Shiva are good, don't get me wrong, but these tanks, I mean, they're tough to kill really quickly. So one problem you're going to run into is that you might be able to kill all the tanks, but you'll only be able to kill them by the time that they get to your main base. Which is, of course, a bit less than ideal. Shiva also prone to friendly firing if these tanks so decide to dip and dive between the Shiva's legs. It's definitely going to cause some problems for this team here. Titans need to be redirected. We need to address this threat right away, otherwise this is going to be a huge problem. Juggernaut has hit the field. Lone Titan stands against the Shiva horde. And by stands, I mean stands. Very, very literally, very stoic. Right next to his brother, too, who's probably just queued to the same exact spot. Revelate desperately struggling to find the APM in order to control this army that he's built here. Adas, I think you got a cloak and you got to just walk over here. Okay, we're gonna just head towards the infinite line of T1 tanks and sacrifice our commander. Yeah, suddenly things are flipping towards the pink player here. We have a whole bunch of these energy converters coming back up and online, meaning that the metal production is slowly shifting back into the favor of this light pink player. Yeah, this needs to be addressed immediately, otherwise this blue team doesn't stand a chance here. I think the problem is they don't even exactly know what's going on. I mean, let's take a look at what they can see. Okay, somehow we have vision over here. Oh, we have a single resurrection bot that somehow snuck back there and saw all of that. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Razorback's now forced to deal with all these medium tanks that are suddenly coming out of nowhere. The blue team scrambling to mount a defense against this bizarre offense that has found itself on their front gates. Shiva marching forward. Yeah, I think this is just too little too late. These tanks are going to be really hard to stop here. Revelate, I think, in a bit of a panic. We're definitely taking a very cost-ineffective way of dealing with this unit spam here. I'd love to see some Thors out. I think Thors would probably blast away these medium tanks in 1 or maybe 2 hits, so just get 2 or 3 of those out and you'll be in a great spot. Get some Razorbacks out, just like Flash is doing here. Remember, when in doubt, imitate it out. Really scared that one of these D-guns is going to hit the Titan here. Ooh, yeah. Anyway, another Titan is here now. Somebody is pinging like crazy, and I do apologize for that. Ah, we have we have some rascals that slipped through. Oh no, they're gonna get it, aren't they? Yeah, indeed they will. They find the metal or the energy converters back here, light them up very nicely. Look at these multiple platinum star generals here, completely ravaging the economy of Revelate. Revelate wondering where the hell all of his metal production just went. Finally forced to look back at his base, take a breath, take a big deep breath, and realize that there's nothing left here. A bunch of advanced fusion reactors, but there's no energy converters whatsoever, so we're plummeting on metal supplies. You can always send some of these butlers out to reclaim some stuff. That's a sort of temporary solution to this problem here. Juggernaut getting exceptionally close to his base and decides to just self-destruct, denying them the wreck and causing a tremendous explosion, wiping away at least the shield projector here that was protecting this base, but also a few of those economy structures. Flash in a bit of a pickle here as the economy starts to dwindle. Right away, these plasma turrets begin firing one more time. And this game has once again shifted favor here. Red team with a tremendous advantage. Bunch of these, what are they called now? The Blizzards moving out. Not the Overwatch company, but the Bomber. Much more interesting. Much better game. Tried Blizzard out once. I tried it for a while. I gave it a fair try, and you know, it wasn't just one game. Yeah, I can see why that community is so toxic. It's a devastating game to play. Advanced fusion reactors go up for Flash, and that is basically all that she wrote for that player. Now there's some very heavy air defense here. Anti-air defense, I should say. So these bombers will not reach the back eco of this player. But at this point, Flash is down to, yeah, microing these units, right? It's, on one hand, you're relieved, because it's like, well, you're off duty at this point. You played your best, you did your hardest, and now it's time to just have some fun with the units that you have left. You know, enjoy your retirement. Enjoy your retirement and just play with your fun little units. The medium tanks have not stopped. Revelate did not piece together that this medium tank horde was actually coming from somewhere, and so unfortunately they kept pushing into his base, and that horde never stopped going. A stop vote is called. That's funny. And yeah, the T1 tanks are in the base, and this is a game ender here. No one man should have all those T1 medium tanks. And they're not focused on anything here. They're just kind of happy to hang out. There they go. They finally decide to start shooting at this advanced fusion reactor. Very nicely done. Are they going to get it, though? Yeah, I think they definitely will. Fusion reactor goes down, and our last commander is here in the middle of the field for Flash. There we go. The blue team concedes defeat after a crazy back and forth. I mean, yeah, genuinely could not have predicted that one from the start, and then from the middle, and then from the 3/4 mark. I just could not see where this game was going. Absolute back and forth smackdown, but super, super interesting to see. Just goes to show you how important it can be to really scout out what exactly your enemy is producing. You know, don't fall into that trap of growing contempt with exactly what your forces have. We'll take a look at the graphs here, but thank you very much for watching. You right there at the other end of this screen. Hope you might even consider subscribing. We're getting real close to 1,000 now, and I'm trying to debate what I should do to celebrate, because that really is the tipping point for this channel. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you have a tremendous rest of your day.